Hi Aries, welcome to your early June 2021 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. This reading is intended to lead up to the solar eclipse happening on June 10th. And this is going to be in Gemini in your third house. So you may hear some news that can really change your life. This may have something to do with your own form of communication, whatever that may be. If you're a writer, if you're somebody who has been trying to, spread your message, whatever that is, that could be a pivotal time. And the months leading up, following it, because this is going to have a lasting effect, obviously. All right. I've already done an astrology forecast for June for you, so if you're interested in that, and I do recommend people listen to their sun sign, and if you know your rising sign, you can listen to that as well, because it gives you more of a specific indication about the energies around you. The tarot for me is more synchronistic and symbolic, but it can definitely, for me, have its own significance. I just think it's very open-ended. And the heart of the matter is the Page of Cups. This is a card that deals with, I don't know if you can tell, there's a fish jumping out. It could be the sign of Pisces, but it can be about trust. And there's two faces to trust. There's a person who has been betrayed and has a reluctance to trust, and so they are kind of always withholding of themselves. This is not usually true of Aries unless you have the moon in a water sign in particular, or even and maybe inner planet in Pisces or something, rising sign in water, where you have this memory. Water is memory, emotional memory. And it can keep you from fully giving of yourself. And that can create its own set of problems. Or maybe you're overly trusting. Maybe you're somebody who just is a little bit, I hesitate to use this word because I had somebody get mad at me when I said this, but gullible. And, gullibility sometimes with Aries, it's just a matter of you being rash, not really paying attention to the small details, not tuning into them. So not really seeing that things are a little bit suspicious, not as they should be, and just kind of blithely going along with the program. And then finding out that it wasn't what you thought it was. So it can be either two of those extremes that is happening for you. It can also be the Page of Cups can be about a child in some way, that there's some kind of an issue with children. In the past position, even the past position is the Three of Cups. And that can even be like a card of children too. Or conceiving children maybe. So that might be the issue for you, conceiving children. But with Aries, there might be this emotional blockage of fear of what that's going to entail. Are you going to lose your freedom? Are you going to feel tied down? Those are typically the ones that I think of when I think of Aries. But this can also be about coworkers. So, for instance, if you are someone who is trusting a coworker who is not trustworthy, that can bring problems to you or has brought problems to you in some way. Also, the 3, anytime you get a 3 in a reading, it could be like that there is a lover's triangle. Whether the person knows this or not, they may suspect it, or in your case, you might be unsuspecting, and this has been going on. I'm not saying it's with a coworker, but of course, wouldn't that be something if that was also the case? Not necessarily you, but your partner's coworker. But it's just like that idea of 3's a crowd, you know? Because the pentacles can relate to sex or the body. So that's another angle of that, is that there's somebody who is, like there's a third-party situation for some of you. And the higher message is the Hierophant, which is connected to marriage, tradition, religion. So let's say that you are in a situation where you're dealing with this issue. Maybe you're sticking your head in the sand, and you're doing so because you don't want to go against, you don't want, you know, like I was going to say going against tradition. That's not necessarily something that an Aries person would be reluctant to do. Aries is a very forward-moving looking sign. So not too many Aries people are old-fashioned, conservative types of people. However, there certainly are some. To me, it's more of the conditioning. So the religious conditioning that says, oh, you know, God hates divorce, or if you come from a family where there are no divorces, your parents were married for 50 years or something like that, you may fear disappointing them. You may feel like a failure. Even if you're not the one that is going outside of the marriage, you may still blame yourself in some way. So what I would do with this Hierophant card, because this is supposed to be a spiritual message, is I would flip the script and I would say, by the way, look at the way that light is coming in. I guess that's a beam of light going right on the Buddha. What I would say is, because this is a card just of spirituality in general, is what is your intention with this situation? And this could be a job. This could be a job. You may have been betrayed by a coworker, or you have a two-faced coworker or something like that. But regardless, forget about those other people. Forget about a spouse. Forget about a coworker. If these are dishonest people around you, forget about them. Just you now. What is your, have you determined what your path is? Using the career example, maybe this is a stepping stone for you. If that's the case, it doesn't matter what somebody else is trying to do. That one-pointedness of mind can come into play. And I knew an Aries person that really exemplified this. And I was really impressed by her, because she was a very, she was very good at honing in on what she wanted. And that person turned out to be very successful. And she was my coworker, and then she was my boss very briefly. So that is certainly something that I could see being possible for some of you, is having this ability. So, kind of getting clear on what that is. And same thing with a relationship. I mean, if you are, and especially if there is a child involved, and that's what the Page of Cups represents. What crosses you is the Justice card. And this is a card of, with a certain situation. I mean, you might even be going through a divorce as a result. I mean, some of you may be going through that right now. And in that particular case, you may feel like even in that arena that it's not fair. It's not fair. What happened is something that you did not want, you did not ask for, and you're not feeling like that other person is getting their just desserts. You know, it's really funny. I always associate Scorpio with vengefulness. And then I thought about it one day because I was talking to my partner, and he has friends that are Aries, and they always express that kind of like vengeful. You know, they love when someone gets gets theirs. And I realized that that is probably the Mars that both Scorpio and Aries share, because Mars, that idea of war, the whole idea of waging war is to try to right a wrong. I would think, you know, it's like, okay, we have to. I mean, obviously, I don't think that's the way to go about it, but I'm just saying. So, yeah. So if that is something that has held you up in some way and kept you, stuck, that sense of like, this isn't fair, this isn't okay. Going back to the Hierophant card, it's all about framing it in a higher context, which means that you're not just seeing it as your life on a mundane level, but this is something that is meant to be. There's something here for me to learn. And maybe this relationship this is the season that I'm meant to move on from it, if the Justice card doesn't mean that you're currently in it. And also knowing that if you are looking for that other person to experience the kind of pain that you feel, or to have that punishment or whatever, that retribution, wanting them to become enlightened, to me, is a higher desire than a punishment. So just kind of keeping it more high vibe in that sense. What's coming in? The Eight of Swords, and this can even be sometimes for me the advice. I would say this is more of the advice of the old tapes running through your head, because a lot of that is going to determine whether or not you are able to meet the challenges that you're faced at this moment. Why am I getting this feeling of the rubber meeting the road? What is going on astrologically for you? Well, because of that solar eclipse, it could be something where you really feel like an uncomfortable truth coming to your conscious awareness in your third house, the mind. And so that kind of breaks through the denial of something. And yeah, with the Page of Cups, there could be that kind of playing dumb, sticking your head in the sand, not wanting to see what's really there. The outcome is the Wheel of Fortune, which is a really great card, which means aligning with your destiny. And this is also about certain... Look at that. Isn't that cool? That's so cosmic. That's so mystical. Makes this even more... look at that light. Aligning with your destiny at this time. Oh yeah, that's right. Because, things are coming into place. I mean, this is a great time for you in terms of, you just had a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, and that might have given you some insights that, yeah, actually, tell you the truth, Jupiter is connected to the Wheel of Fortune, and that's the ruler of Sagittarius. So I'm recording this before the new moon and the solar eclipse. So we're coming off of that lunar eclipse. This is eclipse season, and so both of these eclipses are still very much, I mean, even the Sagittarius lunar eclipse may really still be active in your awareness. Let's see, when was that? May 26th. Okay, yeah, I think that was like a week ago or something. So I could kind of see that being still something that giving you some cosmic insights as to your life. But the Wheel of Fortune is just very good for anything positive coming into your existence. Everything can change in this moment, in this time frame. So you may be embroiled in something that feels kind of emotional, and then all of a sudden it's like there's a shift. The lucky break occurs. So anyway, Aries, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Take care.